EA Sports WRC, what are my thoughts as a jaded, old and miserable tea-drinking sim racer? And how likely do I think it is that this will be a really good rally game and actually move things forwards and maybe even be a title to surpass the glory that was Richard Burns Rally, which came out in 2004, and since then we haven't actually had a better rally game. And will this push things forwards? And I have to say, I am really conflicted on this. A lot of the footage I've seen of this makes it look like it's not going to be very good to drive. But then I sometimes see clips of it, some onboard shots, and you're like, oh, actually, maybe it will be all right to drive. Like, maybe the physics are okay. I think a lot of the footage looks really bad, largely because I think it was recorded with someone playing with a gamepad, which is nothing wrong with that. A lot of people will play this game with a gamepad, so gamepad control needs to be good and work well, so that's fine. But that really does impact how cars are going to look and how they will drive, obviously, because a gamepad's not a steering wheel. But then also, I think a lot of the shots of this, a lot of the replay shots, the replay cameras and the replay system is just a bit weird. It kind of looks like the car's accelerated, de-accelerated, or is kind of dislocated from what's actually going on or what you'd expect a car to do. But I think that might just be Unreal Engine and whatever's going on with the replay system, because you do see some onboard shots and some shots where they're clearly been driving with a steering wheel, and it does actually look pretty decent. But from all the footage I've seen of this, nothing has made me go, oh wow, that really looks like it's absolutely pushing the boundaries, or truly looks really exciting to drive, just from the videos that I've seen. So I'm really conflicted. Like I could totally imagine getting this game and playing it and it driving terribly and feeling awful, stale and dull. But I can also imagine when we actually get hands-on with this game, jumping in and playing it and it being perfectly passable. But I'm finding it hard to imagine that it will absolutely blow me away. Though, you know, they have said in the video they've worked on the physics and they've worked on the force feedback, and developers never tell fibs, never embellish the truth, and would only say stuff if they honestly had really pushed the boundaries and honestly done everything perfectly. Because, you know, a business is never motivated to fib and stretch the truth in order to sell a new product. And of course, they've also worked with real-world rally drivers. And as you know, when a developer uses input from a real-world rally driver or professional race driver, what that means is that that professional race driver has full access and control of the underlying physics engine within the tight development budget times to make these games, for that real-world driver to specifically make sure that the cars drive like cars. Of course, all real-world drivers also are fully understanding of programming, physics programming, real-time physics programming and everything involved in order to make a realistic physics engine. So by virtue of them having a real-world driver consult on this, guaranteed 100%, like every other driving simulator that has real-world drivers involved, this is probably going to be the most realistic rally simulator ever made. So it's great. You know, obviously there's great value to having real professionals consult on games, and it will have a positive effect, I know, but you know what I mean, it's a bit of a tired marketing thing now, and clearly how many games have used pro drivers, it really, you know, what really matters is the underlying physics code, and if the physics programmer has enough time, or the dev team have enough time, and the complementers have enough time and enough freedom, and aren't micromanaged to death, code masters, they're not micromanaged to death, so that they can actually work on the game and, you know, actually put some passion into it as opposed to being beaten with the development stick. That's more important than the general feedback you'll get from pro drivers who themselves will probably disagree on what's more or less real. Anyway, that's another conversation. Let's not get too derailed. Anyway, I do like the idea with this of it having 200 stages. I don't know what 200 stages means, you know. It could be, you could be driving the same location in a different part of it, right, and it's a different stage, but actually you're driving the same bits of track. And, you know, I'm kind of expecting that whole, oh, it's the reverse bit of the track, and then, oh, it's the middle part of that, or now we're doing the full track, now we're doing this end bit, now we're doing the beginning bit, and then they pretend that that's a whole different stage when really it's not, you know. So I don't know what they mean by 200 stages. It'll be nice if it is really 200 unique stages. Personally, do you know what I think would be really nice for a rally game is maybe like mod tools built into the game so people could actually build their own really unique tracks and maybe then sell track assets as DLC and make money from it that way. Because the stages and the variability of the stages is arguably, with a rally game, as important as the cars. And the reason why people play Richard Burns Rally now, I mean, it does drive really nice, but a big reason is all the mod tracks, meaning that you have constant content there. You know, maybe that's difficult to monetize. I know it's complex with game engines and licensing, especially with Unreal Engine, but I think that would be really nice, but that's probably not what we're getting here. But if they do, look, if it's got 200 stages and they keep bringing out more stages, they said 11 locations, and that keeps flowing with the game, that's content. And if it drives reasonable, it doesn't have to be amazing. It doesn't even have to be better than Dirt 1. Like I said, the WRC games by Nikon, I don't think they have the best physics, but I quite enjoyed them. I think if it's passable, if you can feel what the cars are doing, it's controllable, and you've got a lot of stages. You've got some older rally cars because new rally cars are boring, but they've got the new cars in there. It's quite funny how they had the clip with them promoting. Oh, choose how you use the power delivery. I don't care. I'm driving a rally car. I know they've got the license. Let's all pretend that we care about modern rally. No one cares about modern rally. Put some Group B cars in there. Just put a Subaru Impreza or Ford Focus. Let's go back in time to when race driving and motorsport was not terrible. We don't need to copy crap modern motorsport. That's the beauty of video games. You can focus on all the great stuff. But, okay, they've got to do the new stuff. That's the license and everything. And, you know, got to make the money. But yeah, if it's got good cars that handle nice force feedback, lots of stages, that's good enough for me. That's all they need to do, and maybe that's what it will have. So so optimism's creeping in, and you should never be optimistic. You know, the milk in your fridge has gone off and you're going to have to go to the shops to replace it. Never assume you've got good milk, and never assume that Codemasters will make a decent game until you've actually played it. Graphics. Is it just me? But this doesn't look particularly next gen. Now, don't get me wrong. The trees look quite nice. The grass looks nice. The grass looked fantastic in the old Codemasters games with their old Ego engine or their other game engine. I think it looked fantastic. But when you watch this video footage, the smoke effects, the dirt, the actual stages, everything looks a bit kind of dull and lacking in detail, and as if they were using Unreal Engine on really low settings, which then makes me kind of feel like they've had to tone things down a lot to get good performance out of it, which you see this a lot with modern games using Unreal, be it Unreal 4 and Unreal 5. It seems like it's hard to get good performance out of it when you start trying to use Unreal Engine for stuff outside of first-person shooters or, you know, stuff that's third-person type games. When you try and use Unreal for larger simulator-type games, it seems that it chugs a bit and is difficult to work with and difficult to get the performance out of, and especially to get it to then run well on the like the PlayStation 5 or lower-end PC system. So I am actually really quite worried about how this game is going to perform frame rate wise. Personally, I'm not that picky on graphics. I think driving games and sims have all looked fantastic for 10 plus years, but it just doesn't look next gen or like, oh wow, I'm excited to play this game because the graphics look good. You know, it looks okay, it's fine, it's another game. Some of the views and shots you see in this game, it could be like footage from Battlefield Bad Company. Which I don't have a problem with that myself. It's just that's not really graphically exciting and next gen. I do worry as well, stuff like temporal AA or maybe the DLSS will be nice in this, and frame generation. That could be a really big help for slower systems. So that's nice if they do implement that, and you can take advantage of these newer things which are available in the newer Unreal Engine. But I'm old. I'm happy with more simple game engines that use old school anti-aliasing and look perfectly fine. You know, you sort of the Assetto Corsa era or games just after that. That's fine for me. But you know, who am I to say? Maybe some of you guys think it looks fine. It just doesn't look particularly next gen to me. But it'll be down to the gameplay. At the end of the day, it'll be down to the handling and the stages and the force feedback. That'll be the crux of it. Lastly, I do think Codemasters, I can't really tell from the video clips we've seen, but Codemasters normally do a fantastic job with the audio, and I do think it looks like they've done a lot of work on this title, and they've put a lot in there at least. So it doesn't look like it's going to suffer from the problem the old Dirt Rally 1 suffered from, and even Dirt Rally 2, which was just a complete lack of content at release. Hopefully, I mean, I don't know how much content they're actually launching this title with. I really hope they launch it with a good sizable amount of content. But it looks like there will be a decent offering there. And I think we're just going to have to wait and see to play through the single player to see how that actually pans out. I'm not really quite, with what I've seen, there's nothing there that makes me be really excited about the single player and the car options and things. Just seems a bit dull to me, but I'd have to play through it to really know. So yeah, I mean that's my rant on this title, and the most on the fence I've ever been towards a new racing driving simulator, especially a rally title game. I don't know. Maybe this is how most people are feeling about this. Like, it doesn't seem to be like there's a lot of hype behind this. I think everyone's just like cautiously like, oh, I don't know. We don't know. We hope it's good. And the 3 people that are mega rally fans are like, oh, please, we want a good rally game, and they've just been ignored for decades. They're so desperate for a good rally game. Oh dear. Let me know what you think in the comments, guys. I'm going to drown myself in tea. That's the only good thing. That's the only thing to do these days. Just drink so much tea and then pass out. Thanks for watching. Take care. And goodbye, everybody.